I grew up in Columbia, South Carolina. I went to Clemson University and majored in civil engineering. And I started working with SeamonWhiteside 2 weeks after I graduated. I started working in our Mount Pleasant, South Carolina office and was there for about 6 years, and then had the opportunity to come up with a few others here to Charlotte in 2019 just to help start this office. I've been here for 5 years now. So with SeamonWhiteside for a total of about 11 years. And I'm one of 3 directors here in this office and lead a civil engineering team.
Okay, can you tell me a little bit about SeamonWhiteside, which goes by, is it SW plus?
That's right.
A little background, what its core competencies are and most common projects, and what do you do for them?
I am one of 3 directors. I lead a civil engineering team here, and I'm also in charge of operations for our Charlotte office in particular. The SeamonWhiteside mission is to elevate the site design experience. And we do that through really focusing on, first of all, our people, our clients, our plans, and then getting really involved and focusing on our community. That's really the mission of SeamonWhiteside. And our vision is to be the best, the most exceptional site design firm in all of the different communities that we serve. And there's a huge focus on passion, collaboration, care. That's a big part of who we are. So we have 6 offices now. Our main office is in Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. There's also a Summerville, South Carolina office just north of that. Greenville, South Carolina, Spartanburg, South Carolina. Charlotte was our first North Carolina venture, and we recently opened a Raleigh, North Carolina office.
So we're here to talk about the women's initiative that Siemens Whitehouse started. Can you tell me about what this is and what its goals are?
Yes, so the SeamonWhiteside Women's Initiative, it's really a community of not just females. It's intended to really be a group that fosters mentorship and growth, professional growth of females. But we also have a lot of males that are a part of this too, and really providing support and education and just growth opportunities. It was started in 2021. I was one of the founding members on the steering committee for the last couple of years, and I'm now just a general member, so I get to enjoy a lot of the programming events. But the goal really, fostering female relationships, retention, that's a big part of it too, encouraging female retention, really instilling like work-life balance, and then just developing kind of like this thought leadership industry experts in the field too.
Are there any members outside of SeamonWhiteside, or is it all an internal initiative?
It's all an internal initiative, but we do have, internally, we have over 50 people that are members, again, both males and females. But we have collaborated with other groups on events. Like we had in the Low Country, we had a collaboration with some other contractors and similar groups in the industry, and it was a female kind of women's initiative event. So we certainly collaborate with others too.
Okay, before we get to some of the larger ideas, can you describe like what you and others might do in a particular like specifics of advice you give, things that you might try and pass along, like some specifics about what you're trying to accomplish?
I think more than anything, it's really like a safe space to share ideas and share growth opportunities. There's a wide variety of ages. There are people that just graduated from college. There are people that have been in the industry for 20, 30 years. So to be able to see that growth and the opportunities and the leadership opportunities is really important. And we do that through various events. We have monthly lunches, coffee talks, and that's kind of more smaller setting within our offices. And then we have kind of quarterly more, we'll have speakers come in. We've had speakers come in about public speaking and how to improve that, or imposter syndrome, kind of how to overcome that. So some different programming elements that we do too.
Okay, so it seems kind of an open-ended initiative just to gather and discuss and talk about whatever seems important at the moments.
Yeah, it is. We certainly try and have focused topics at the coffee talks. Some might be like, we are on the design side, but we also our projects are built in the field. And so it could be, what are some challenges you experience as a female going on a site visit, and how can we help, encourage that to be easier for you? So there's some timely things. A lot of it is member based. So if there's something like the public speaking, I think that's something that would be really helpful for everyone. So that was, we looked into different people that could come do that presentation. So it's very like, what's the need? How can we encourage female retention? How can we make sure we're providing opportunities for growth and in a male dominated industry?
Why do you think such programs as the Women's Initiative are needed and important?
Again, it being a male dominated industry, I think it's important to foster those relationships, and retention is so important. And I think, again, some of those meaningful events, it shows specifically Seaman Whiteside's investment in women's growth. They're willing to fund these speakers. They're willing to fund these events. We've also had two of our most senior women in our company kind of give their professional life journey story. And that was really meaningful to all of us, just to see, the challenges that they've overcome in a male dominated industry, and the growth opportunities that are there, and the mentorship opportunities that they received and that they kind of passed down. So lots of just different opportunities there.
Okay, you mentioned that it is a male-dominated industry. Where do you think this stems from, and how long has it been going on, and do you think it's getting better?
A lot of it comes down back to awareness, and just I always enjoy going to career fairs, even at the elementary level, at the middle school, high school, and like really getting involved and showing awareness to children and females especially, that there is a career path for you in this field. And I think if we can help do that, I know we have two people in our office now that are involved on a biweekly basis in a local high school, and they go share about the architecture, engineering, construction industry, and there's just a big awareness. And if we can get that awareness out there, then there will be more people, more females in these engineering fields in college, and then end up here in the workforce. So I think a big part of it is just awareness and showing that you can do it. I have two young children, so it's important to me to show that you can be a female and have a family and still be in this industry too.
Okay, with this growing success, what would you think some of the benefits of having a more inclusive industry would be?
I think just having diverse viewpoints brings a lot of strength to our designs. Kind of take those challenges and look at them through multiple vantage points. I think brings a lot of strength to where we're problem solvers. We're creating places. We're creating sites, and bringing different viewpoints, I think, only provides strength to our industry in general, both on the design side, on the construction side, really all the way around.
What can other firms besides yours do to increase their inclusivity? How can they recreate the success of your initiative?
Yeah, so we actually have had a friend that works at a construction group here in Charlotte, and she's reached out to us before, and we've sat and talked about, how did you create your group? How did you go about getting people to join? So I think, just encouraging and showing them what we do from a programming perspective, from a membership perspective, just kind of all the nuts and bolts of how it can work and how other groups can do that is important. So, because again, I mean, a big part of it is retention. We're in a field that everyone's trying to hire more people. And so if you can do that and make your people happy, and see the growth opportunities, and that your firm, like Seaman Whiteside, is invested in you as a leader and as an employee, I think that again brings strength to any company in this field.
So do you think that women engineers have an obligation to try and improve these numbers, or is it more of an individual choice? And did you feel like pressure to do something?
I don't feel necessarily pressure. I personally, again, kind of bringing that awareness to the young people. I've always enjoyed going to those younger career fairs. I know I personally did not know what a civil engineer was when I was growing up. And so personally, I think it's important to show people, both, young boys and girls, that there's an opportunity in this field, especially females, that you can do this and see the possibilities in the AEC industry. And again, just me having young children, I think it's important to show people in our office and in our community that you can have a family and also have a career in a male dominated industry.
So how can you give some specific recommendations to all engineers, both men and women, of what they can do to try and help improve this situation, whether it's to start an initiative, or if there isn't one, what they can do without one?
I think especially a lot of the, again, women and men at Seaman Whiteside, they show up to our events. And I think that speaks volumes, that, that men will come to the coffee talks like, what's your current topic? What are y'all talking about? What can we be made aware of that are challenges for you that we can help? So I think just being present and aware is huge on the men's side. We had a lot of them come to the public speaking and the imposter syndrome, so they see the value of a lot of those programming elements too. But I think, again, just getting involved and sharing your career with young people, creating initiatives at your own office that can help foster those relationships and mentorship opportunities for females is important too.
Okay, you've talked a lot about how this seems like a grassroots kind of development from the employees, but does firm management have a role in these initiatives? And should they play a larger role? And do they have to be aware of and note the financial impact that this might have on their firm?
Yes, I mean, there's certainly, especially their programming elements, there's a certain financial aspect to all of that. And so I think making sure you have your firm leadership on board with that is super important. And luckily at Seaman Whiteside, they are, they see the value of this group, they see the value of the efforts that we're doing. So we've been super supported in that aspect. And I think once you see again, how it's helping retention and helping foster these relationships, these different opportunities, you see the value of any financial investment that you're putting in that. And again, our leadership too, showing up to these events that shows, their approval of it, that they find value in it. So I certainly think it's important to have any firm management aware of it, and they can get a lot out of it too, honestly.
So if you're going to give advice to people to encourage management, would be to just get involved and make sure they attend, or are there more specific bits of advice that you could pass on to make sure that management's on board?
Again, this was grassroots. So we created our goals, how often are we going to meet? What type of programming things are we going to do? We put a lot of thought into that. And so in doing that and sharing that with our firm management, they saw that this was very well thought out. Like we had kind of all of our things in order, what we wanted to do. So I think showing a plan helps get your firm management involved. And I think like my friend that works at a contractor here in town, she's able to show her firm, hey, this is what they did, this is what they planned, this is what they're actually doing. And that kind of gets some buy-in too of it's working, it can work here, here's what their financial investment is in it type thing.
Okay, you've talked a lot about how this could benefit, the industry and your firms and, getting new people involved. But I'm curious about how has this personally benefited you? Like, how have you grown from this, become a better engineer? How has this improved your life and what you're doing? What's your personal perspective?
Again, I think two of my favorite parts of this have been seeing the senior management, seeing them get involved, and then seeing some of the more senior females kind of tell their story. Because, there are increasingly more females in the field every year. But for some of these people that have been in the field for 25 plus years, it was very different when they started. So I think hearing how they've grown in this industry is super inspirational. Just to hear their story and just thinking how much we can change and impact the field over the next 25 years or whatever it might be. That's been really impactful. And then also just seeing like our Charlotte office, we started out with 5 people in 2019. We're now up to 25 plus, and we've got multiple females here now. So just being able to sit with others and the coffee talks, the lunches, and hear and feel that like just camaraderie and the openness, and they feel like, okay, I can share it. This is a safe space. Let me share this difficulty or this challenge that I'm having. And it's nice that we have that space to do that and that we're supported in doing that by Seaman Whiteside.
Can you share some of the experiences of how, you've learned that things have changed in the last 20, 25 years? Some of the perhaps before and after examples of the difference that's taken place?
I think, I mean, really, it's just a number. Like there was just more females. One of the Jenny Palmer, she leaves our Somerville office. When she started, I mean, I think can't tell you numbers exactly, but I know like currently in the industry, I think it's 16% average like females in our industry, and Seaman Whiteside has over 25%. Those numbers were significantly lower when Jenny started. So being able to see the change and seeing more females is just a huge part of just what's changed in the industry. And I think, I mean, again, like what we design is eventually built in the field. I think it's becoming more, even I've seen over the last 10 years, you see more females on site. That's becoming more common. Like you see more people in the construction industry, and it's just exciting to see that people are taking on these careers that females used to not be a part of.
In addition to just increasing numbers, do you feel that there's also been and gains in just how women engineers are treated better and more equal? I know there's been horror stories of not being listened to as much or taken as seriously. Do you think that's been improving over the years?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and we've got a lot of women both that have just started and also at the table and the highest levels of our leadership groups. And so that to me says that yes, we value your opinion. I'm one of 3 leaders here. Jenny Palmer leads our Somerville office. So we've got office leaders at Seaman Whiteside is saying, we believe in you. We want you to lead these offices. So the fact that females have been elevated to these leadership positions shows to me a lot of growth and change, when maybe there were some people that were part of the office but didn't get to those other positions. That's a change that's been positive over the last few years.
Okay, so what are you working on next to kind of grow this initiative and take it further and do even more?
So would love for that, number, specifically Seaman Whiteside, to continue to grow. We've got close to 200 people now at Seaman Whiteside, so I would love for more involvement, and just more creative programming ideas. We've got 6 offices now, so there are lots of things that we can do both within Seaman Whiteside, but also I would love to partner with other firms in our industry. We've done a great job of that in some of our offices, but I think we could do better in all of our offices, and people really knowing about the Seaman Whiteside Women's Initiative and how can we get that going at other firms and how can we partner with them, and just really make sure we're showing people that females in this industry is important, and let's keep growing our females and keep adding people to the industry.